Hello. Yes. As Jyoti said, it's very difficult to, very difficult to keep it short also. But anyway, I'll try and keep it short. I'm from Chennai. Basically, I was born in Chennai, and I came to FTI when I finished my graduation, of course. And at that point, I was 23 years old, and the interesting point in my life is the point at which point I decided to leave home and come and study, come and pursue sound is the very same point. Personally, also, I wanted to break away from a lot of things personally in my life, like belief systems, ideologies, and where I am from, what I am, identity, and everything, and a lot of other things and so on. FTI Film Institute, when I landed there, I didn't know much about the place. I studied very little about the place. At that point, you don't have internet much, don't have any information online also. Net was just starting to come. In Chennai, we don't have much understanding about what is Film Institute, where is it, what it is made up of, So very little knowledge we had. But the moment I landed, I remember the first day of my institute experiences. I felt it to be a very magical place where I can explode myself as an explorer of an art form. Forget about sound. I came to study sound, but I thought this is not only about studying sound. It's about, as Jyoti said, it's for me, it's like a cultural explosion also. I didn't speak Hindi until that point also. So language wise, it was an explosion for me. I could sense the entire country being present there, with students from all over the country. For me, I was more excited to understand different cultures than studying cinema, first of all, to begin with. Of course, cinema by itself has, cultures recorded, through art and music and everything. But it is this interaction of people, of people from other states, other languages, that is what mostly, made me very curious, very excited at that point of time. Since then, I think that's what triggered a lot of explorative, capabilities, and the discussions we had with our seniors, the atmosphere which we used to have, not only studying in the classrooms, it is mostly what we used to discuss outside the classrooms, all night, everywhere, everywhere people used to sit and talk about films, everything, not only about films, politics, ideas, everything, all these discussions, I think, created a sense of an explorative artists and technicians amongst us, it's not only about engaging cinema, it's about engaging ourselves into the medium, how to express ourselves, otherwise, I wouldn't imagine any other space giving that. For me, coming from a place where, you're contrived, you're in one space, this was a whole another level of explosion, and for that, I think FTI is a very magical and a very deep dwelling place. If you let yourself go, I think it can take you very, very deep within yourself, your understanding about the world around you, not only about this country. I think the cinemas we saw, it helped us understand the world itself, what is happening around the world. I think because cinema records everything, it records history and culture, and archives, since it's all archived there, I think the whole experience is it's mind blowing, it's endless. You can keep learning. Even now you go to institute, you keep learning all day, you keep talking, you keep learning about new things there. Even though it's in Pune, it's like you see the world, it's like a window to the world outside, That way, I think it is a fabulous and a fantastic place. I feel so proud and so happy to have spent my good amount of life there, and I think it has definitely changed my way of thinking, my way of expressing, my way of seeing the world all together. So I'm very thankful and very grateful to the Institute and to all the students and faculty who I interacted with, my batchmates, my seniors. I mean, we still think we are one big family. Wherever we go, even after finishing course, like even meeting. Recently, I met in the train. Very recently, I met a senior in a train when I'm coming back from Calcutta. He was working at the film archives in Calcutta. He was like 20 years senior, and I mean, instantly we felt that connection between us. It was momentary, very instantaneous. I think that's the magic. Even if we haven't met at that point, at any point of time and space is the same. Exactly, I think what Tushar was saying, like the FTI itself comes with the whole package of networking. Like we're already connected so deep, so well within. But the important thing is there is whatever. I mean, in not only whether an FTI graduate or not an FTI graduate, I think as far as I've experienced, I think if we are sincere, if we are really sincere, and if we are really hardworking, we are really, as Aruna ma'am says, that junoon, if we have that thing, I think even within the networking, it will happen automatically. Word spreads. I'll ask my senior, who is good, then they will suggest these people are good, because we have your sincerity spreads on. I think that is because networking is already there as a graduate. But then again, after that, it is on you. It is on you how to use that. I think one has to really cultivate that. Take that very seriously and use it correctly. Otherwise, because every year there are so many people coming. It's still a competitive thing. There is still even technical, acting, direction, everything. Everything is now it's a boom. There's web series, there's OTT, there's everything. There is a lot of work, but there's also a lot of people, a lot of technicians coming. There are other institutions. There is there's not only FTI now. There is so many other institutions, so many other technicians coming. People are coming short-term courses. They are also editors. I mean, so many editors have come after 6 months course, fast-track editing. So it is a competitive world as it is. I think whatever work we do, that's what I have learned, because my first film, which for me kind of connected is the FTI diploma film. I think through that I got all my work. I still feel like it is because of that film. Even a Rajinikanth's film I'm doing now, it's because of that film. So somewhere I try and give my everything to that one film, so that I know this is every film I have to sow the seed of hard work and sincerity. I can't miss that. I think that is very important. I think it's a lot about perspective. I think that's what it comes to one word. Because as I said in the beginning, because everything, since the whole perspective of life changes, I think, and our storytelling, most of the filmmakers with whom I worked with, I think every story is new, and every story has very different perspective by itself. So I think the way I saw the world before and the way I saw the world after Film Institute is definitely different. More wider, more open. It's more, it's more explorative and everything. So I think that approach is what I tend to, look for in every story. And that's just the journey I take with the filmmaker, the director, because it's, as a technician, I'm representing a story of a filmmaker, So I try to explore, I try to not close myself. I try and understand what is the filmmaker's journey. I think that is how I see the space has been trained, in me. I kind of understand, discuss, talk, flesh out what is the world he or she is trying to represent, So that's how I can put my technique into the art. Otherwise, it's just technique. There is no representation. There is no there is no creative flow in there. Because it has to be explored along. For example, there's one film where I did in Tamil called Pariyaram Perumal. The director is a small town filmmaker. He comes from remote South Tamil Nadu. And I am from Chennai. So it's a totally different world. I am totally strange to that world. So I tend to be open to that world. I have to unlearn a lot of things about what I learned about my world. I have to unlearn a lot of techniques also. So I was open to those, explorations of how that world should be. So he had to tell me how his world is, even small things like what kind of bird he used to hear every morning when he was a child, and what kind of language, textures and tools, everything is new. I think the whole perspective of approaching a story changes with a training like that, because you interact with so many people, we interact with so many other students from all over the country, and sometimes other parts of the world also. Luckily, I remember me and Sucha even attended a exchange program in Germany. We interacted with a lot of German students there. Their idea of filmmaking is very different. So I think it puts us in a perspective that also humbly, it made me so humble. This world is so big. There's a lot more to learn, and still every story is learning. Every world is new, and every project I need to adapt new technology also to create those spaces. So I think it's about perspective and how learning is never ending.